For 40 minutes now, this guy has been shooting dice at the craps table, and he hasn't hit a 7 once.
He can actually call out the numbers that he's going to hit. I have never seen any dice controller ever be able to do that.
A large group of onlookers are now whooping and cheering his every throw. For pit bosses watching, frustration turns to anger. Change the stick, man, and make the message clear. They've got a problem on their hands, but they can't do anything in front of this crowd. It's too risky.
The idea that an individual can take on a giant industry and defeat them at their own game is an incredible thrill.
He rolls a 6. He's just done it again. Who is this guy? And how is his crap strategy beating Vegas casinos night after night? It all started a few years earlier in 1997 when a software developer from New York was visiting Vegas for the weekend. Throughout the week, he runs a small tech firm, but his true interest lies in gambling. As an expert blackjack player, Dominic Larigio is facing an increasing problem. The casinos now use multiple decks to make counting harder or shuffle the cards more frequently. It's destroying his fun and killing his edge as a card counter. Plus, the casino staff are on the prowl for players like Dom. If they suspect he's counting, he'll be ejected pretty quickly. Dom faces a dilemma. He has no intention of quitting, but he's not willing to take unnecessary risks. He's there to beat the house. Gambling is business to Dom. It's not just about getting a rush or having fun. Sharp casino surveillance leaves him at a crossroads. Find a new advantage or quit forever. Whilst walking the casino floor one day, his next opportunity presents itself. A crowd of young women are shouting and cheering their luck. They're on a roll and onlookers are starting to pay attention. Each time they win, their cheers get louder. Until now, he's never been interested. Although his current predicament changes his perspective. One of the women claims to have a lucky grasp. He pauses for a moment and then it hits him. Craps is unlike any other casino game. Unlike other games, the player can directly influence the outcome of each hand. Rolling the dice means that potentially the player can manipulate the results. Suddenly, his mind goes into overdrive. Is craps ripe for advantage play, or would it be cheating?
Craps is the most exciting game in a casino because it's the one game where everybody is in it together.
Craps kicks off with a come out roll, which is the initial dice throw. Landing a 7 or 11 on this roll results in a win, whereas rolling a 2, 3 or 12 spells a loss. The objective then shifts to continually rolling the dice until one of the other key numbers 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 or 10 is hit. Whichever number is rolled first establishes the point. The game's aim becomes to roll this point number once more before rolling a 7. For example, if your first roll after the come out is 5, then 5 is your point. You must then roll another 5 before a 7 appears. If a 7 is rolled before you can hit your point again, it typically results in a loss for most bets on the table and ends the round. To win big money, Dom needs to find a way of controlling the dice. He knows he can't get every roll right, but by manipulating the average outcome, it should be enough. The following day, he hits several of his local bookstores. Hungry for knowledge, he's determined to make this work. It won't be easy, but the upside is huge. Dom's friends tell him he's on a fool's errand. You see, conventional wisdom dictates that the dice will fall randomly. Most of them believe that games like craps, roulette and the lottery are easy to categorise as pure chance.
There's certain laws on this planet Earth and certain laws of nature. And so when I looked at the dice throw, I realized that I had to work within these laws of nature.
But that's not the view of Chris Palicki. After spending 3 years, Palicki has invented a technique that influences how the dice land. But not only has he developed the method, he teaches others how to use it. Dom is instantly hooked. If Palicki's technique works, it might just give him the advantage he's looking for. Despite having no knowledge of Palicki, he's prepared to take a risk by investing $595 in an exhaustive 2-day training course, equivalent to $1,100 in today's money. Palicki's method is straightforward. It relies on controlling 3 crucial variables. Typically, the outcome of dice once they're thrown by the shooter is pure chance. However, if one can master the technique of controlling the release, it's possible to influence the resulting roll. So the technique's objective here is not to predict the future every time, but to remove the randomness, increasing the probable chance of a winning bet. The challenge is that there are 6 different ways to roll a 7, more than any other number. Plus, rules stipulate that the dice must bounce off the table and then the back wall before coming to a stop. Palicki's method emphasises not just the grip and initial positioning of the dice, but critically, it focuses on the manner of the throw. The objective is to throw the dice in such a way that they travel the maximum distance with the minimum amount of force, ensuring they carry minimum momentum upon reaching the back wall. Achieving this involves launching the dice at an optimal 45-degree angle, which allows for the greatest range with the least force. This controlled approach means that the dice expend less energy upon impact, reducing their movement before settling and enhancing the thrower's control over the game. While the dice need to hit the back wall, there are no rules dictating the specifics of their throw. Therefore, this strategy is not cheating. Better still, most people don't believe it's even possible. At this point, Dom's learned only the basics, but already he's convinced it works. He's keen to test out his newfound skills in Vegas, but before he does, Chris lets him in on a secret. His training course isn't just about teaching people, it's a vetting process for a small, specialist team of professional craps players known as Rosebud. It's a pivotal moment in Dom's journey. Dom's obsessive will to beat the house is paying off. The pair are now meeting once a week to perfect the 3 crucial elements of his craps throwing in Chris's garage. First, he needs to memorise a handful of dice sets, the way in which the dice are arranged before they should throw them. By altering the dice's starting combination, it inevitably changes how they land. A shooter's come-out roll in craps is important because it sets the precedent for future play. Rolling a 7 or 11 is an advantage. Setting a 4-3 or a 5-2 is the best way to roll a 7 on the come-out. Then, after the point is achieved, different combinations will help Dom avoid the point. Sets like 1-1 or 6-6. It's sneaky, but the second element of the strategy is equally as important: the grip. Depending on where Dom grips his dice combination, it changes the amount of rotations the dice will go through as they travel in the air. It takes a lot of practice, but is practice worthwhile? A good grip means more consistent execution when rolling. The most difficult is the arm swing. It's the power behind each delivery and can drastically change everything. Dom refines his technique by creating a long, rigid sweeping motion originating from the elbow. This way, the execution is near identical every time he shoots. But the strategy is only half of it. Around his software job, Dom is now practicing the technique in excess of 3 hours every day. Later in his gambling career, he would reveal that sometimes he would practice late into the night on his own custom-built craps table. He's getting good, and now